Life is a trade-off. For every yes, there is a no. No matter how hard you try, you won't be able to give everything in your life 100%. You are making these trade-offs in your life on a daily basis. You just don't realize it. Or maybe you do. When you spend an hour on social media, that's an hour not spent on work that could actually add value to your life. Because these trade-offs are a daily occurrence, you need to have priorities. Priorities that keep you on track and make sure that what needs done gets done. I am Layla from ShutUpAndAchieve.com, a website dedicated to your success. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to set priorities. Your actions reflect your priorities. Once you set a priority, your actions must reflect that or it's not a priority. You're lying to yourself. Knowing your priorities is important. Because as Nir Eyal said, you can't call something a distraction unless you know what it's distracting you from. Your priorities will guide your actions and keep you on track toward your goal. You're aware of the traditional way to prioritize. You write down your life aspects or tasks. For example, family, work, and health. Then you assign each category or task a priority ranking. For example, A, most important, B, less important, and C, least important. This doesn't work. All three of these aspects are important to you. They all should receive an A. But if everything is a priority, that definitely means something is going to be pushed aside, making it not a priority. Because as we said, your actions reflect your priorities. You assigned family, work, and health an A. But what does that mean in terms of actions? How are you going to reflect that these things are a priority through your actions? A better way to prioritize is to group your priorities into buckets or categories. You can have priorities that are non-negotiable. This means that whatever happens, you will not give up on these tasks. An example of this would be family. No matter what happens, your family will always be number one. Next, we have time-bound priorities. These tasks are important, and they have a deadline. The deadline makes these tasks a priority for a small amount of time. An example of this would be an assignment. The third category for priorities is important. These tasks have to be done, but they don't have a deadline. An example of this would be managing your finances. The fourth category is wants. These are things that you want to do and will be sad if you don't get to them, but there's no real consequence for never achieving them. An example of these are your personal goals. Once you group your priorities into these categories, you'll get a better idea of what they mean to you. Still, it's not very clear how you can act on these priorities. To understand how to act on your priorities, you must be aware of your three most important resources. The first is time. You only have 24 hours to spend, even less because you sleep, you eat, you commute. All of that takes away from your time. Next, your energy levels. Your energy will last you only 40 to 60% of the day. After that, you start to feel sluggish, you don't do your best work. Finally, your attention. Researchers at the University of Oregon concluded that the human brain can only entertain 4 thoughts at a time. If you're stressing over what to cook for dinner or what your partner said, you've used up 2 of your thoughts. They're playing in the back of your head. You only have 2 slots available. Depending on what category your priority is in, you'll allocate it a certain amount of each of these resources. In the case of non-negotiable priorities, you will give it a certain amount of time every week or day, and you'll give it high levels of energy and attention. When you're focusing on these priorities, you don't want anything distracting you, and you want high energy, so you're giving it your best. The random tasks that come up should never take away your 3 resources from these priorities. The next group of priorities are time-bound priorities. There are 2 types of time-bound priorities. There are valuable tasks, for example, your application deadline, and there are non-valuable tasks, for example, the weekly challenge on your phone game. The non-valuable tasks end up in your priority list because it's a marketer's strategy to get you to spend more time on their app or service. Be sure that when you have a time-bound priority, it's a valuable type. You'll give time-bound tasks as much time as you need to finish them before the deadline. If the deadline is a few weeks away, you can spread out the tasks, so you're not spending so much time every day on these tasks. The energy and attention that you give these tasks is variable. It depends mainly on what the task is. Then comes important tasks, which need to be done but don't have a deadline. For these tasks, time management is key. Because they don't have a deadline, you'll tend to procrastinate and push them off. In general, these tasks should receive 10 to 30% of your time each day or week. You'll want to give them a decent amount of energy and attention. After all, these tasks are important, and you do want to do your best on them. Next, we have your wants. Your wants are a priority, but they often get pushed aside by more demanding aspects of life. Life is short, and a good life is balanced. If you spend all of your time doing what you should do, you never get a chance to do what you want to do. That is why you should prioritize your wants. There are things that you want to do and will regret not doing when you're old. And there are things that you want to do, but it's okay if they get pushed aside. You can't spend all of your time on wants, but you should give it up to 20% of your time each day or week. The energy and attention that you give your wants will vary. Peter McWilliams said, "You can have anything in life you really want, but you can't have everything in life you really want. Decide." What are your priorities? And what categories do they fall in? Let me know in the comments below. I am Layla from ShutUpAndAchieve.com, a website dedicated to your success. We have videos and articles about overcoming obstacles, building habits, and creating your success. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe and give it a thumbs up.